because it was so polite. They weren't adversaries. And our case was the first case in which the overall story of what was going on in the whole country was the case against us, because these were the top military officers. So it wasn't just what was going on in Vicenye or just what was going on in this part of the country. It's how did the whole thing happen? So it was all relevant. And it took about 2 years, and I finally got the UN documents from the prosecutor. And I read through all the UN documents. And not only did the UN documents not tell the story that inculpated my client, but the UN was constantly going to my client saying, "Can you please help us?" And he was the go-to guy to help them do what they needed to do. And there were no reports of crimes in the UN files. So I said, well, gee, if this is the case, I guess I probably should get to the files in New York also. Of course, nobody wanted to have that happen, but I got an order saying that I could inspect the files in New York. And I'm the only lawyer who's got one of those orders, but I got it. And I went to the UN here in New York. I went up to the 30th floor, and I got into the files, and there's this room with all of these manila folders with file after file after file, and the very nice UN staff said, well, here are the files, and the court says you can inspect them, so you can inspect them. Of course, you can't have a computer, you can't have a cell phone, you can't have a scanner, you can't have a paper or a pencil, but you can inspect them. And if you're interested in any document, as you're inspecting them, you can put a Post-it note on the page, and we'll photocopy the page, and then we'll send it to our legal department, and if our legal department gives us authority, then we'll send you the page. Well, I'm the first person that's gotten into those files. What am I going to say? Go back to the court in Tanzania, complain to the judge, and no, and I'm actually from Chicago, of course, because I did pick up garbage from Michelle Robinson, and of course it was Michelle Robinson, that's true. And my roots are, it's not a matter of opinion as to whether a garbage truck works or not. It's not a theoretical question. So, I'm used to just, getting the job done. So I went down to the first floor, and now I live in Minnesota, so I'm also concerned about, whether 3M is got full employment or not. So I bought a gross of Post-it notes and went back up to the 30th floor, started with the first file, and it took me a week from morning till night to put a Post-it note on every page in the library. And one of the good things about the UN bureaucracy is they know that their job is secure only if they're doing bureaucratic stuff. And they're really good at doing bureaucratic stuff. And they did exactly what they were ordered to do, which was copy everything and give it to the legal department. And I got boxes of paper. And I actually read them all. And when I put them together with the files I had gotten from the prosecutor's office, I got a pretty thorough compilation of the UN documents day by day by day of what the UN had been accumulating here in New York about what happened in Rwanda from their viewpoint. And at the end of the week, the staff was very kind, and I said, well, you've been working hard, and I said, yeah, I think I've finished this. Oh, then you're not interested in the archives? So I thought I was in the archives. There's no use in the files. The archives are in a warehouse in New Jersey. So I want the archives too. So then I came back 2 weeks later and did the same thing with the archives, which are the files that had been kept in Kigali. So I got those as well. And then I did a FOIA request. And I got the files from the CIA and from the State Department, from the DIA. And all of those documents tell a completely different story than the story told by the victors. the story is that someone, an entity capable of turning the RPF from a defeated army into the major military force in Rwanda, not only did that, but then assisted in a military assault that must have been long planned because it was a blitzkrieg, according to the UN documents and General Dallaire, that went on the night of the assassination of the president on April 6th. Beginning that night, the majority of the RPF force swept down from the north on April 6th to the south in 14 days. Now what that means is that the logistics and military planning to carry out that kind of blitzkrieg assault must have been in place for a long time, because you can't do a blitzkrieg assault by accident. Simply not possible. So that means that the planning for that sort of military assault was long in the works. And then there were two feints, one towards Kigali and one towards Rwanda, which is where the good troops of the Rwandan government were based, in order to tie them down so they couldn't reinforce the not good troops that the Rwandan government had in the eastern part of the country, so it eliminated any possibility of a defense. And the RPF controlled a third of the country inside of 2 weeks. Then the UN documents also show that by April 20th, show that as early as April 7th, the side that had no chance of winning the war because they didn't have the military strength to do so, were asking the militarily stronger side for a ceasefire and asking that they join troops in their armies together in order to put down the massacres that had been triggered by the assassination of the president. Repeatedly, the militarily superior side said no, and General Dallaire wrote repeatedly from Kigali to New York saying, well, of course the side that's militarily superior won't do that because they're winning the war. Repeated requests to the Kagame and the RPF, according to General Dallaire, not according to me, is the RPF saying they're not going to use their power to stop the massacres because it makes no sense in terms of their war plan, and that's in the UN documents. Again, not me. I don't know what happened in Rwanda. I just know what the documents say. Then after the RPF had military victory, the documents also show that USAID sent an investigator named Robert Gersony in behind RPF lines. He spent 6 weeks investigating human rights violations behind RPF lines. Human Rights Watch and Amnesty also reported massive killings and human rights violations behind RPF lines. We have the documents that show that Gersony reported to both Kofi Annan and Secretary of State Warren Christopher. We have the cable to Warren Christopher reporting the RPF crimes. A cover-up began in October of 1994, even before the November establishment of the ICTR, because, of course, had the RPF crimes become known, the relationship between the Pentagon and the RPF would have become a public issue. And that also explains, by 1910, by this year, last year, only the defeated Armenian government had been prosecuted. So it still remains the only war in which only one side committed crimes, or the ICTR has been manipulated. In the meanwhile, a French judge and a Spanish judge have both charged Kagame and the RPF with the rocket attack on the plane. Kagame denies it, of course, and says that the side that lost the war is responsible for the plans to exterminate the Tutsi community. But